Well, good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here. I'm Julie Yerkes and at the partnership at Drug Free New Hampshire, and we host these Facebook Fridays um, to engage our communities and be able to share some wonderful prevention activities that are happening around the state of New Hampshire. So thanks for being here, and we have some more coming up in January. So we hope you'll join us. But today I have Patrice Baker with me from the Pinetree Institute. And I love when I see Patrice out about in the community because she's got such a wonderful host of experiences in prevention and supporting our folks in the community. And I always love hearing what's new with her. So she's here today to talk to us a little bit about some of the initiatives at Pinetree Institute, what's going on there, and some of the other work she does, and how we can be supporting each other at this time of year that can be a little bit hectic. I'm sure some of us are home unexpectedly with this beautiful snow outside. I'm an improv. That I didn't set that up, you guys. That was not intentional. That wasn't planned. Yeah. So I had to find a new office today, but they still got it. Okay. So welcome, Patrice. Could you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Pinetree Institute?
Hi, thanks, Julie. Glad to be here. So Pinetree is a little nonprofit that's focused on building healthier, more resilient communities. And we do this through education and training and getting involved in community projects, collaborating with efforts that are happening in communities, coordinating coalitions and things like that. And the idea is that, when we share knowledge, improve understandings, we develop this common vocabulary and a common understanding about things, and then that can shift attitudes, reduce stigma, and then ultimately lead to action. So we really are about helping people in communities take action to use what we know about childhood experiences and their lifetime impact on health and well-being.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, talk a little bit about these childhood experiences. I know you've been digging, going deeper into this hope framework that is somewhat new,
Right.
and really exciting. And the partnership did invited them here, and we did a training on it. So we have that on our website that people could watch as well.
Good.
But tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think, the story all starts with the landmark study from the 1990s. And, they call it the biggest public health discovery of our time. But it showed us that pervasive chronic stress in childhood affects brain development, affects bodies, and has a lasting impact on health and well-being. Has the potential to have a lasting impact on health and well-being throughout a person's life, and the cellular changes in the body can actually be transmitted to the next generation. So that all happened, all that research happened in the 1990s. But starting in about 2015 and then continuing on, people started to really look at, not all people who face adversity early in life are dealing with lasting health and well-being impacts. So what is it about those people? What is in place in their lives that they are able to thrive and flourish, even though they faced a lot of childhood adversity? So it's pretty amazing and exciting research. And the HOPE framework really sort of wanted to take advantage of all the new research in brain science and resilience and then put it in the hands of people who can actually use it. So the new research, and this is something that not only HOPE is sharing, but lots of places like we at Pinetree share a lot of information about positive childhood experiences and all the resilience science, but it all sort of complements each other. But the research really shows us that there are experiences, environments, relationships, and skills that when those things are supported during childhood, people will be much more likely in their adulthood to be thriving and have good mental health and good relationship health and a lower risk for depression. So the hope framework is nice because it takes all that research and puts it into a nice frame, a simple format where they identified four building blocks. And if we can promote access to these four building blocks for children, and I have to say adults, because we all need these things, you know, parents and everybody, um, we will see better outcomes if we can sort of create pathways to access these building blocks. So
Yeah. What are, can you tell us what those four building blocks are?
yeah. So, one is relationships, and that's the
Mm,
first one. And that's,
yeah.
you know, I guess in my mind, when I think about all the different work that I do, and it really is the foundation for everything else. That secure attachment to a caregiver in the early years is kind of builds that strong foundation for all this other good stuff to happen. But relationships matter throughout life. And the more we can like build a web of relationships around children and youth and adults who need connection and support, we're going to see people doing better. So relationships is the first building block. Um, environments. Environments is an important one too. This space for safety and living and working and learning and playing and all that kind of stuff. I saw an article recently like New York City was shifting their parks and recreation budget. So instead of investing so much money into those big parks that we all know, those famous, you know, Central Park in New York City, they're putting more money into local neighborhood playgrounds. And I feel like that's just such a great sign that they understand that these environments make a difference in kids' lives. So environments. The third one is engagement. And that's about being connected to something outside of yourself and feeling that you matter and that you bring value and that others value and cherish you and you know you belong. So that can look like just in a family for a young child, maybe having a chore or a job or contributing to the family. And then, you know, in the teenage years, it expands to being part of a community event or a team or a, you know, theater group or something. So engagement. And then the last one is social emotional skills, social emotional learning. And, you know, that's just an important thing throughout life. But of course, for young children, it's a really important protective factor. So kids who are, you know, research shows us sort of preschoolers who show really aggressive behavior at 4 years old are at higher risk for being substance users later on because the aggressive behavior leads to peer difficulties and misbehavior at school and academic failure and teachers not support. And so it's like a cycle that can start. So, you know, and I think the social emotional piece is important for parents and caregivers too, because you know that phrase, it takes a calm brain to calm a brain. So we have to work on our own skills so that we can then teach our kids how to self-regulate and talk about feelings and manage feelings. So those are the four building blocks
Oh, those
of
are
the Hope
great. And
framework.
these Facebook lives are short, right? And they are just a little teaser for a bunch of stuff. And so
Yeah,
I hope that we can put in that Hope website, the positive experiences one, into our chat so that folks can go and explore that a little bit more because it is across the lifespan and they have these, one pages, right, around what in English and in Spanish and around, for I think preschool age, school age, adolescence. And so that's just taking a look at those and some ideas of how you build that.
yeah,
I know last night my daughter decided not to do a sport this year and I was a little frustrated, but that's her choice. And um, I was like, what are you going to do every day? So I was really worried, where is that connection? Where is that engagement? Right. And last night we went to the volunteer orientation at the SPCA. I have not seen the twinkle in those eyes like that in a while. She's
wow,
so excited. She feels like she can be helpful and have that meaning. And it was really a low barrier opportunity, to be honest. So
yeah,
that's just one of those great, um, you know, op-
That's
that
so great,
engagement is
Julie.
so cool,
Yeah.
to see
And
those.
the other thing that makes me think of is the Search Institute is a think tank that studies relationships,
Yeah.
and they have a whole research base about sparks. And that when we help
Yeah.
kids find their sparks, so when a kid knows what their spark is, so she's finding one through this SPCA thing, and then she has an adult who supports that spark. That's like the other piece that's really important. Those, we see more thriving behaviors in kids and fewer risky behaviors. And so that's the perfect example. That twinkle in her eye is the spark. It's
The
like
spark.
getting
Yeah.
developed. And yeah, that's neat.
Yeah, it was good. So I think it's so important, and it takes time. I got it, it hasn't been easy, so for us as
Yeah.
parents and teachers, helping kids find their spark and those opportunities, for our school counselors and our pediatricians, even to, have those conversations with young people and their
Yeah.
families to be thinking about that because it is so critical that they find that engagement.
You
And the
know,
other thing you said that was so important is that across the lifespan and the ages, right? We all need that connection. And Nikki, maybe you could chat in the link, our registration for our partnership convening at 10, which is all about substance use disorder in the aging population. Kind of an age that is often overlooked, and how isolation in that aging population is so detrimental to health. So,
yeah.
um, so that I want to kind of go off of what you said there around emotional regulation and how important that is for parents and adults. And we're always
Yeah.
learning and growing because
Right.
we're our life is a journey, right? I'm experiencing new things every day with, as a parent, as an adult, that I've never had to figure out how to respond to. So, that is a big learning um, curve for many.
Yeah.
And I know that you guide parents in that journey as well. Can you tell us a little bit about that other work you do?
Sure. So, one of the other things I do is I'm a parent educator and facilitator for Waypoint, which is so nice because it gets me to work directly with parents, which really informs a lot of the work that I do at Pinetree around prevention and strengthening families and prevent all that. So, but Parenting Journey is a really wonderful program. It's 12 weeks, so it really gives us enough time to build relationships in our group. And like what you said is we as parents will react to situations based on what we've learned and the patterns that we have, and all of that comes from our own childhoods until we take time to sit down and think about, okay, why am I doing that? Is that who I want to be as a parent? What's important to me? Am I just reacting like the way my mother did it, or do I have different values, maybe some things I want to shift, or maybe some things I really want to keep from how I was raised, and I'm going to be intentional about who I want to be and what is important to me as I support my children. There's this quote from Dr. Becky. Have you heard about Dr. Becky? She's a new like parenting guru, and she has this book and podcast called Good Inside. But she said something once that I wrote down because I thought, oh, this is exactly what Parenting Journey, the program, is all about. But she said, intergenerational change doesn't start with our interactions with our kids. It starts with our interactions with ourselves. So, Parenting Journey is really about taking the time to understand your own childhood, how you were parented, and then with the support of a group, think about what you want to leave behind and how you want to, go forward. And so there's some goal setting and just really great activities and reflective discussions. And we practice things like different listening skills, and it's wonderful. I think it's an incredible program. It's a commitment, 12
Yeah,
weeks, but it's
yeah,
it's also like a self-care moment in the week for
absolutely.
parents to come out. They offer free childcare and a meal, and we sit down together, and
That's
parents
wonderful.
really, yeah. Nice.
I used to do a 5-week program and called Staying Connected with Your Teen. So specifically for that teenage year. And,
Yeah.
parents would come and be like, this is like date night. This is so great.
Yeah.
Thank you. And at first it's like, oh God, 5 weeks, and then they're like, can we keep meeting? So
Yeah.
it does, when you look at it on paper, it seems like such a commitment, but once you're there, it's so, and that peer connection, again, that relationship and connection and being
Right.
together, it really is so meaningful. Um,
Yeah.
and
I
so,
mean, parenting is, no, I was
no,
just
go
thinking
ahead.
it's a hard job, but it's a
Yeah.
lot, it's even harder if you have to do it alone.
Oh my
So
goodness.
having that network of support and what the parents bring to each other and the way they listen and support each other and offer resources and ideas, it's really a wonderful thing.
So, I think this is so timely because we are at December 16th. For many, this can be one of the most wonderful times of the year, one of the most stressful times of the year, a very hard time of the year. Um, because, lots of stress for a lot of different reasons. And
Mm.
I wonder if you have some, I don't know, something to share with us about how, as parents, as friends, like, we can kind of approach the next 9 days
Yeah, right. I know.
to do some of that self-reflection and thinking about how we want to be over the next 9 days.
That is a good question, and there's so many different articles coming out about it. You're always reading like how to manage stress during the holidays but I was thinking about a conversation I had at our parenting journey group and we talked a lot about that word should. And when we have the word should in our own heads about what I should be doing, I should write these Christmas cards, I should be baking cookies, you know, we say, oh, don't should all over yourself. And of course, we don't want to should on our kids and should. So I feel like that was like a really fun conversation we had and an important one because our self talk, like the music in your head, what that's like in the background of how you're going through your day. And if you take a minute to notice what is that soundtrack playing, you know, um, one parenting educator, Dan Siegel, talks about shark music. Like, are you hearing this like negative voice that's like stress and you're not enough, you're not doing enough, you need to do more. All that we really want to like turn that down, notice it, and then try to turn it down. So there's something about making your expectations realistic can be hard during the holidays. We often feel like we're lowering expectations, but that's not true. Making it realistic is not lowering it. It's making it better because if you can realistically achieve the things you set out to do, you'll be a happier, more present parent. That will translate into your whole, climate in your house. So I mean, realistic expectations and noticing and like letting go of should is probably what I'm thinking about anyway, because I feel the same way. I'm trying to make cookies for a cookie party and I thought I should try a nicer cookie, a better recipe, and I worked with my sister on Tuesday and it didn't work out very well, so now I have to do something else today because the party is tonight. And I
Right,
should have made
right.
nicer cookies, but I'm
Yes.
going to just let it go and do what I can do and
Yes.
try to enjoy the process.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I have to tell you that last night I watched A Bad Mom's Christmas. There's some raciness in there. Like I may not be for all. It is definitely R-rated. But it was just about this. Like everyone, they were like, I'm taking Christmas back. I'm taking the holidays back and no more of this
Yeah,
should, right? Because it's about those positive experiences
right.
with the kids and with our
Yeah.
family and with ourselves and
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
so it kind of goes back to that hope framework, right? Those, and we
Yeah.
should. I actually wanted to ask, what does hope stand for?
Oh, healthy outcomes from positive
Okay.
experiences. They
Yes. Thank
really got the nice name there. Yeah.
you. Yeah. And those positive
And
experiences, that relationship piece, right? That
yeah,
is so important during this time is that just time together, right?
yeah, right,
Um, mellow or connected. And
yeah,
I went outside in the snow this morning and I was like, this is just right being together
yeah.
and trying to enjoy those positive experiences.
That's right.
And
And,
uh,
Julie, I did want to offer that at
yeah,
Pinetree, one of the projects we have is that we offer free trainings to groups and organizations if they are in Stratford County, Rockingham County, or York County, Maine. And we teach community groups from like library staff to police departments to parents about ACEs and positive childhood experiences. And we're able to do that through some grant funding. So we're doing it all through next year. So if anyone's was really curious and wants to learn more about all this stuff, they can certainly reach out to us at Pinetree and talk about some of the options we have.
wonderful. And where is the parenting journey through?
Parenting Journey happens at Waypoint in Stratham. And we just wrapped up one 12-week session and we'll do another one next year. But we are starting another program at Waypoint in late January called Mind in the Making. Do
Hmm,
you know about that? It's
no.
about it focuses on helping parents understand executive function skills, which are
Oh,
those like life skills that are so important for all of us. And again, it starts with understanding our own executive function and then how we can support that in our kids. Things
okay.
like impulse control and decision making and plan, all that, all those sort of like air traffic control kinds of skills that we need. So
Right.
that's in January at Waypoint in Stratham. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. And do you know if that parenting journey is in other places around the state through Waypoint?
I don't know. I don't think so yet, but I
Okay.
think it was very well received, and
Yeah.
so hopefully we're going to figure out ways to launch it again. Maybe I've done it online in the past. I prefer in person, but it actually really
Yep.
works on Zoom as well and creates access for some people who can't attend
Yeah.
in person. So we're
Okay.
exploring like our schedule for next year.
Okay. Yeah. And we have Waypoint's website and some of the family resource centers may also offer
Yeah,
it that aren't necessarily connected with Waypoint, but other family resource centers.
right.
And I'm trying to remember there. We'll find the link and put it in later for how to find
Yeah, that'd
a
be
local
great.
family resource center. So thank you. I really enjoyed having you here. I appreciate all the work you're doing and sharing it with us. And yes, notice our feelings, right? Notice our feelings.
Yes,
Think
that's right.
about really what we want, what the intended outcome is, right?
Yeah,
Why are we baking cookies, right? Why are
that's
we
right.
rushing around to do X, Y, or Z? Um, if
And
we're
I think,
not
like you
doing
said,
that
some
stuff because we don't have, you know, Christmas isn't the same, for everybody, right? And
right.
the real meaning of this time of year, and whether you celebrate Christmas or not, I'm not trying to make it about Christmas, but this time of year is to spend some time and have some fun and make some laughs and memories. So whatever that looks like.
Very nicely said. Exactly. And thank you for all your good work. I love the
Oh,
emails I always get from you about all
oh,
the resources and trainings and opportunities. It's really great.
thank you. Well, everyone have a safe day today driving out there. Good, healthy couple weeks here, and we'll see you in January. And if you want to join me for a nice conversation on Facebook Live, just reach out to us at the partnership at Drug Free New Hampshire, and we'll get you on. So thank you very much.
All
Take
right.
care.
Thanks.
Bye.